working for you. This is Channel 4 News at 10.
I was in utter shock. I mean, I actually started to tear up.
Emotions are running pretty high over a corner market in a Brentwood neighborhood right now. The owner has been told he has weeks to pack up and leave. Good evening and welcome to Channel 4 News at 10. So why are residents so passionate about the change that it even moved country star Verlin Thompson to write a song about it? Well, folks here say it's like a family member who has been told to leave. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell picks up the story.
One beloved market is in jeopardy of closing, but the community is in full force to make sure that this fixture stays open. Cars making their way down Granny White Pike. Music is heard from a strange location. These folks are in support of Dan, who has been running the Granny White Market for 19 years.
I remember when you were a little baby.
But he received a disturbing phone call that shocked everyone in the community.
As of Tuesday, my landlord called and said, close the doors and be out by October 1.
As the word quickly spread, folks came out to help.
I've known him for 19 years. My children have been coming here since they were little. He's part of my life, part of the community, and just want to do whatever I can to help.
And Dan is just not a small business owner. He has a heart for the community and people.
When you're sick, he brings you soup. That's true. He's irreplaceable.
Mary, who is a supporter of Dan, will tell you actions speak louder than words.
That in less than 72 hours or so, over 6,000 people have signed a petition, and there's been hordes of people here, and many will come today. The community outpouring is just, it's telling.
I think Dan is part of the fabric of Nashville and of this area of Granny White Pike.
For 19 years, I've tried to be of service to everybody. We change tires. We take old ladies home when they get lost. We find lost dogs.
With a heart of gold and an army on the front line, Dan is keeping his faith that something positive will happen.
We're praying, just by the grace of God.
Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News.
The community, of course, hoping that this rally today will have an influence on the owner's decision. And remember to stay with WSMV for updates on the story. She is a legend. She is often referred to as Nashville's Queen of the Blues. Marion James is a major part of the fabric that makes up Music City. She is credited with giving this guy here, rock legend Jimi Hendrix, a start when he lived here in Nashville. At the time, Hendrix was a down-on-his-luck musician renting a room on the second floor of a beauty salon on Jefferson Street. Now James wants to turn that history into not only a revival of Jefferson Street, but also as a way to help other musicians as well. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell with the story.
Folks strolling down Printer's Alley got a little more than country music. They got a history lesson of blues from the Queen herself. Printer's Alley was the home of the blues today. David Flynn, the director of the Musicians Reunion, says it's about helping musicians in need.
Marion James, Nashville's Queen of the Blues, started this, and the money is a benefit to help musicians. So musicians sick.
This is the 32nd annual reunion benefit. Marion James has helped folks like Jimi Hendrix.
He played in a band for me. One
story she recalls about Jimi: they almost missed their gig they were to perform in Tullahoma.
I goes upstairs, knock on the door, there he is. Don't have on no shirt, sitting on the side of the bed, playing his guitar.
And she had to ask him.
I said, Jimi, are you going to the gig? Yeah, I'll be ready in a few minutes. And he was more interested in that guitar he was playing instead of getting up, going to the gig.
And her focus now is on Jefferson Street by honoring the greatest instrumentalist of rock music.
We are trying to get enough money to have a statue made of Jimi Hendrix put on Jefferson Street, because Jefferson Street has a lot of history, and I'm trying to get it through to everyone. If we work together, we'll be successful.
In Nashville, Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News.
Great lady, a big part of music history. And if you'd like to help with the Jimi Hendrix statue, contact Citizens Bank at 21st and Jefferson. It's called the Jimi Hendrix Project, and any amount donated will be greatly appreciated. They are often called the greatest generation, a generation who struggled through deep depression in the 1930s, and then they were called up to fight for democracy during World War II. More than 300,000 Tennesseans answered that call to keep the world from entering a new dark age against the Axis powers. Today, the state paused to honor them. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell with the story.
Nashville took time out today to say thank you and honor one of the most significant events of the 20th century. 70 years ago, the Japanese surrendered, ending World War II. We celebrate it as VJ Day. Today, Davidson County veterans honored men and women of that era.
We're here to commemorate the end of World War II.
Dorothy never went overseas, but she thinks people should know more about the war.
Because of the types of battles that these people were fighting. We had two theaters of operation, as you know, the European and the Far Eastern operations. These were just kids that were doing this, and we should be forever grateful to them.
At that time, America was different and can use a dose of what these men and women did to get the country back on track.
Everybody was involved, everybody wanted to do something, and in their own way they did, whether you stayed at home, worked in a factory, or whether you actually went into the military. Everybody joined in. We worked together.
She did clerical work stateside, but she had dreams of going overseas, so they sent her to Grenier Field for training. What happened next? She didn't expect.
They put me on a job there waiting for the shipment to get together, which was an all-volunteer women's unit. And when it came time to go, they told me they didn't have anyone to replace me in the job I was doing, so I had to stay.
This 92-year-old veteran understands the pressure women face in the military.
I am so proud of the girls today that are in there and what they're doing. We were kind of the pioneers when I went in. We had to set the standard so these girls could follow us.
Dorothy never wants us to forget the ones who gave it all.
I wish that there was more appreciation of our veterans.
In Nashville, Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News.
If you are from Coffee County, it's one of the biggest nights of the year, the coffee pot rivalry between Manchester and Tullahoma. But this morning, someone did something that goes way beyond poor sportsmanship. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell has the story.
It's football time in Tennessee, but for one county that has been slugging it out with its next-door opponent for over 90 years, the fun for some might be behind a jail cell. As Tullahoma band prepares for tonight's football game, the 90-year-old rivalry unfolds. As Manchester and Tullahoma see who would take home the coffee pot. But Thursday night, this good, clean fun was corroded by vandals.
Where we've had thousands of dollars worth of damage accomplished by some folks who don't represent the best of Manchester or the best of Tullahoma, but folks who are exceptional and disappointing and need to grow up.
Superintendent of School Dan Lawson tells me this isn't the first time. Last year, someone put a dead bobcat on the field.
But it is unfortunate that it seems to happen from year to year.
Kim McGahee used this field for exercise. She hopes something will be done.
One of the most important things is to teach students that being an upstanding citizen and having good character qualities is more important than a football game.
Kim has this message for the person or persons who did this.
High school's fun, but their actions have a lasting effect on others, and just rethink the extent to which you go for rivalries.
Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News. Learning how to read starts early in life, and one church with a host of volunteers is making sure young people have the tools to be successful in school. As cars make their way up Main Street, folks were gearing up for the 4th annual Literacy Day in Murfreesboro.
I brought everyone breakfast.
Olive Branch Church is on the front line in Stop illiteracy.
The more we can wrap ourselves and wrap our arms around the fight against illiteracy, the more people involved in it, we stand a whole lot better chance of being able to impact those individuals that need the support.
And Pastor Woodrow believes literacy means more, so much.
And we believe a more literate community is a more educated community, is a safer community, is a healthier community, is a more well-informed community.
And a good foundation in teaching a child to read.
It should start at home, and one of the things we do with providing the resources on Civic Plaza and our partnership with Read to Succeed is not only being able to provide for the children, but also to be able to provide some help for the parents at home as well.
Putting books in children's hands and meeting the authors opens up another world.
It creates a spark. It creates this excitement, and they meet these authors and they're like, oh wow, these authors of these books are like, they're real people, but at the same time they're like a rock star. I love you so, hey, that's what you say. You tell me, baby, please don't go away.
And for this lady who is looking for a book about going to the dentist, well, it's not for her. It's for her 6-year-old granddaughter.
No, she doesn't like the dentist at all and everything, but hopefully when we read it and all and see the pictures, and maybe the next time when I take them and all, it won't be such a bad experience.
Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News.
The Refit for a Reason benefit today helped the Salvation Army get much closer to their goal of rebuilding and reopening. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell with the rest of the story.
Tennessee is known as a volunteer state, and that's ever so true. In Murfreesboro, people are exercising. They did some shopping and even ate a slice of pizza and left some money on their way out. And it was all for a good cause. As cars make their way down Broad Street, a joyful melody is coming from the Salvation Army of Rutherford County. Refit is raising money so the Salvation Army thrift store can get back in business again.
100% of the proceeds are going to go to the Salvation Army. Every single thing today has been donated, which is a huge blessing.
You see, back in June, the roof was blown off the store, causing everything inside to be destroyed. Lacey, who organized this event, tells us people stepped up to the plate today.
I have been blown away by the community in this town. It has been unreal. Every single person that I asked to donate gave something, whether it be a silent auction item or food or bananas.
It encourages me as somebody who has committed their life to serving the community. It's great when we have support of the community and support of friends to help us in our time of need.
With over $100,000 in damage to the store, any amount they receive will be a blessing.
We believe that God is in control. We have faith in that and that He will take care of this, and so we're trusting in Him.
With today's event, the Salvation Army says they are about halfway to their $100,000 goal.
We believe very firmly that God has called the Salvation Army here to do a specific thing in our community, and we're going to be faithful to that. And for those who are praying people, we just solicit their prayers.
Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News.
Now, if you would like to donate to the Salvation Army, you can visit their website, salvationarmyofmurfreesboro.org, or check out their Facebook page.
Tonight, a new twist in the fight to keep a neighborhood market under the same management. The landlord claims the man running the Granny White Market has been late on his rent and has not lived up to his lease. But now the man on the ropes is turning the tables, saying he's the one who's owed tens of thousands of dollars. Channel 4's Jason Maxwell has the latest.
Folks are rallying around Granny White Market in support of Dan Smith, who has only been given a few weeks to pack up and close shop.
For 19 years, I've tried to be of service to everybody. We change tires. We take old ladies home when they get lost. We find lost dogs.
Now Dan is officially fighting back. He's filed this lawsuit that says the landlord improperly collected money Dan should have never paid. For years, it says, the defendant charged and collected more than $50,000 in property taxes and insurance from the plaintiff in violation of the lease during the periods of 2001 to 2015.
Looks to us like Mr. Smith and his company owe Dan money.
Dan Smith is a fixture in the community in keeping Granny White Market a simple place, and that's Dan's mission.
We've asked for an injunction so that Dan can stay there. I mean, Dan's got no place to go. That's the only business in Forest Hills. He can't set up shop down the street. He can't go anywhere else. The community supports Dan.
And now the lawsuit may well decide the fate of Granny White Market and one man's version of the American dream.
He's put everything he has into it. I mean, that's what he does. 7 days a week, that's what Dan Smith is, and that's what Dan Smith does. And he provides a great service to the community.
We reached out to the owner of the building, who is also named Smith. Reese Smith didn't want to go on camera, but told us this, quote, "We have received and are reviewing the contents of the lawsuit. We look forward to settling this in court. We hate that it got to this point. There's always two sides to every story." I'm Jason Maxwell, Channel 4 News. Last week's tragedy at Hickory Hollow Cinema put Antioch on a national map. Sunday morning, Kevin Moore was shot in this parking lot. Now some businesses are worried all the violence in the area will keep people away.
And we want to express to the public that this was not our crowd.
Emmett is the owner of the Complex Restaurant and Lounge. It has only been open since July of this year. He says he had no idea someone got shot near his business.
It makes us feel bad because we pride ourselves in making this one of the best places to come eat and enjoy yourself in Antioch.
Emmett says he spent a year getting the business up and running and is proud to be in the area.
Antioch is a growing area and we're part of it. We want to see it grow. We want to see it get better.
And just across the street is Nail Expo, which has only been open a few months. The owner says the violence has to stop.
It feels intrusive, I think, more than anything. It just feels like it keeps getting closer and closer to home.
But she decided to open her business in Antioch because she believes in the people.
We were actually excited to see that the community started to trend back up, that it was picking up business again. A lot of families are out here. It's becoming more family oriented again.
And this Antioch business owner has the prescription for anyone thinking about leaving.
Just making sure that we are watching out for our neighbors. That's the main thing. It takes a village to raise children. It's